Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Trades and Gains, the only show where the Federal Reserve does the same thing three times in a row and somehow creates more confusion each time. Yes, it's here, Fed Day, the market's Super Bowl, the economist's Coachella, and Powell's quarterly audition to convince America that he is indeed still driving the bus. Today, the Fed cut rates again 0.25%, their third cut in a row, because apparently the economy is both too hot and too cold and just right, depending on which FOMC member you ask and whether they had breakfast. So the actual announcement is we cut 0.25%. That didn't shock anyone. If you watched the video where we broke down the scenarios, you were aware that this is our most likely outcome. Now, this is lowering it into a range of 3.5 to 3.75%, the lowest since October of 2022. The CME group odds were at 87%, which means even Vegas didn't bother making this interesting. This cut was so expected that if Powell didn't do it, half of Wall Street would have spontaneously combusted. But the drama today wasn't the cut, it was everything around the cut. We had three dissents, both directions, and it was just complete chaos. And this is where things get fun. Today's vote featured three dissents, the most since 2019. But get this, they weren't even on the same side. The dove was Stephen Moran. He wanted a bigger cut at 0.5%. This man walked in like the economy is on fire and only a swazzle can fix it. The Hawks, we had Jeff Schmidt, who wanted no cut, and Austin Goolsby, which I told you about as well, who's been peeing his pants in the corner all week. He also wanted no cut. So the Fed essentially had one person screaming, cut faster, harder, and stronger. And then you had two people screaming, stop cutting. And Powell in the middle, like a divorced dad trying to split holiday custody. This was not a decision at the end of the day. This was a Thanksgiving argument, but with graphs. So the new dot plot, it's just one cut in 2026 now. The Fed also dropped the summary of economic projections, aka dots, aka the astrology chart for economists. And the takeaway, only one cut in 2026. Just one. After already cutting three times in 2025. Translation, we're cutting now, but don't get used to this. But the dots also show unemployment drifting from 4.5% to 4.4%, inflation cooling from 3% to 2.5%, and GDP accelerating to 2.3%. So according to the Fed, the economy is basically, well, fine, which raises questions. So why are we cutting rates again? We'll pretend we didn't hear that, by the way. Now, the markets, small caps, they're going to party like it's 2021. As I mentioned on stream earlier today, IWM will be the big winner when these cuts do happen because the small businesses cannot afford to keep paying out and taking on these 20-year high rates. So stocks, they popped instantly after the announcement, especially the small caps like IWM. The Russell 2000 finally broke to record highs again after being left behind all year like the middle child of the equity market or the redhead in your elementary class. Small caps have 40% of companies with negative earnings, however. But hey, lower rates make everything look better, including businesses that are basically trading on vibes and no actual economics or reason. Now, what is a hawkish cut? And this is a phrase you're going to hear all day. So a hawkish cut is a cut that tries to send a message that future cuts aren't guaranteed. It's like saying, I'm breaking up with you, but I want you to stay hopeful that I might come back. Today's hawkish cut happened because some FOMC members think inflation is sticky, some think growth is slowing, some think tariffs will raise prices, and some think tariffs won't raise prices. Some want more cuts and some want no cuts. This is no longer monetary policy. This is a group project where no one did the reading or had the data that they needed. Now, the dot plot explained for normal humans, and this is if you're new to this, the dot plot is a chart where anonymous Fed members put a dot showing where they think rates will be in the future. There are up to 19 dots. The forecasts are moderately accurate at 1 year, terrible at 2 years, and basically fan fiction at 3 years. Even Powell said the dots are not a great forecaster. Translation, do not use these to make decisions, even though we literally publish them so you will. kind of hypocritical, am I right? Now, as Powell is giving his final press conference of the year and ever, because Trump is now going to start, I think he's starting with Kevin Hassett. He's going to start interviewing new members or a new president. And here's the crazy part. If you're going to take the job, you have to cut rates instantly. Trump is literally interviewing finalists for the next Fed chair. The candidates are Kevin Hassett, who's the front runner, Kevin Warsh, Chris Waller, Michelle Bauman, and Rick Reeder from BlackRock. Trump's quote, "I have a pretty good idea of who I want. This is not irrelevant. Who runs the Fed in 2026 determines the rate path, inflation strategy, balance sheet policy, AI regulations, and tariff impact response. Markets are quietly sweating over this." Now, what does this mean for you guys? Well, one, the Fed is done cutting for now, but they're not done talking. Markets will price in pauses, not hikes. Two, small caps and cyclicals get a tailwind. Cheap money helps weak balance sheets the most. Three, rate-sensitive sectors wake up. Housing, regional banks, industrials, consumer discretionary. So here's today's bottom line. The Fed cut rates. 3 officials hated the decision. The dot plot says don't expect more. Markets cheered anyway. Trump is already interviewing Powell's replacement. 2026 might be the real battleground year. And this wasn't a rate cut. This was a trailer for the 2026 monetary policy cinematic universe. Stay tuned because, well, if the Fed is confused, the market is about to get very, very interesting here. I'm Max Pitts. This is Trades and Gains. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave your hottest take in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next episode.